Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel Radhika TechHub. In this tutorial, we are going to see sign up using of Node.js, MySQL and ReactJS. And this is the part 1. We will discuss in this part 1 only for the Node.js part. So, we will write the API for the sign up page. For the sign up, for the login, we will mainly use for the email to login. Anything if we want to log in into any websites also we'll use our login with our Google, or else we will sign up or register. After registration we will log in with using of email address. And if any working on a company also, we will log in either email address using of email or with the EIN, employee identification number. So mostly we'll use the email. For individual person, this is the person A and person B, and these persons having of aa@gmail.com. So this person having an email address of unique, and for this person email address of unique, and that is bb@gmail.com. For these two persons having of email address of with different, so when I register with one email address, that is aa@gmail.com, the registration is completed, and I want to register again with another, but I am using of email address with the same email address, so that is not right. So only one email address for one person, it is a unique. In database also we will use the email address for the unique queue, because the email address should be only one for one person. It should be a unique. If we enter the same email address also, it will throw an error that email address is unique queue and that email address is already present. So the same way we will write in our Node.js of sign up API by checking an of email address first, as the flow is like this. First we will check an email address. If the email address already exists previously, means it will throw an email already, or either user already exists. There is no email address, it is a new person, and a new email address means it will insert into our DB when we log in. So it will be success with that email address. First, we will connect to the database and we will check the email address. If it is already exists, it will throw user already exists. Otherwise, it is a new address, new email address, and new person. So it will insert into our DB. And coming to our password. For the password, also we will write in a hash. We will use the bycrypt.js, because the password means nothing but a private. It is a credential purpose. So for the data purpose, which is a person handling the database also, he is also not able to see, so we have to convert like that. When we use the password in the front end, means we will look as like a dots, because of we will using that input type of password is password, input type is a password, not text. So we will convert that password, which will be stored in the DB also, in the form of hash. So we will use a bycrypt.js in this API service. So let's start our coding, and we will check the email address first. The first step, we will connect to the database, and second step is the we'll check the email address, and third step, if it is not there, means we will insert. So let's start. So first we will connect to our database. So I already installed npm I mysql. If you're not installed, means let's install npm I mysql. So I will write here npm I mysql. So first we will install this, and let's start this coding. So MySQL I imported, and I write the method name as dbconfig equals to the MySQL which I has imported, MySQL dot create connection. I will create the connection first to my database that has been created with the database name of userdb and the table with the user information. So I am using the host as localhost. So localhost, and the database name which has been now I told that userdb, and the username we have to write here, and the username has been declared in the env. So what you will be created for your username and password to your mysql workbench, so you have to write here, and I will be env equals to require, it's not coming, sorry. So process.env.user dot user has been created, and password. So process.env.password. So we has been created the connection. Now we have to connect to our database. So dbconfig.connect. So if we get an error, it will throws the error. If it is an error, it will throw error. Otherwise, it will show that database connected successfully. So let's check our database is connected or not. So we have to import our database here. Sorry, I am not exported here. So module dot export dbconfig. So dbconfig equals to require. So has been config. Okay, config dbconfig. So let's check. So npm start. So it has been the port number which we are using now is the 4000, and the database is connected successfully. So you can see that here the port listening to our server listening to the port number has been initialized this port number in the env file. It is the 4000. So this is the displaying here the 4000, and we are imported and we are called in our app.js the dot dbconfig. which is here the database connected successfully, which is coming the response from here. So now we will start our API. So here we'll start. I am taking the user sign up method. So async. So user sign up, we have to export. It has been exported and we will start. And we will get the response from postman. This is the client response, will it forward to the server through the network. The postman will be used and we will pass our values there with the username, email and password which is banned through the postman. And in place of postman we will use the in front end like a React we are using now. So from there we will pass the values to the server in that. So now we will use the postman for this. So request comma response. So const for sign up we are taking the three values username, email and password. So I have to declare, I have to initialize here. So username and email and password. So we are getting these from the request.body, that is from postman. So request.body. So it is clear here. Now we will write the query to check the email in the table, which is we are using the database of userdb and user information table. The email already exists or not. But right now there is a one row, it's a Radhika is present in our database. I will show you. But right now we are checking the email already exists. So we use this one. But right now there is a one row. Again after the writing an API we will insert one row. So first we will check for that query is SQL query equals to select star from user information, which we are using the table name is. So user information where email equals to, so email which has been initialized here, that is coming from the request.body. Okay, so it's clear here. Now we will connect to our database and pass this SQL query into that. So dbcon dot query. So we will pass our SQL query, and if we get an error it will throw an error. If we'll get the data it will pass that. So we'll use a try catch. In catch we will pass what we are getting an error here. So with the status of 400 I am using, and the message which I am using is the error here. So in try, if the data, because we are getting the data from there, then the length should be, if we get any data, the data which is coming and storing in the data, in this data value, means the data length should be great more than 0. If you are not getting any data, the email is not present in our database, means we are not getting anything there. So at that time the data should be with 0 values. So I am checking with data dot length greater than 0, means if the email already exists. So at that time I wants to pass here is response.json. So we already seen that if email exists in DB, nothing but which we are passing the email address is already present in our database means we wants to throw as the message as user already exists. So now we will pass that. So with the status of 400 and the message we wants to give is user already exists. User already exists. So nothing more than this. User already exists. So we will check first with the email address. To check this, we already exported and we wants to call this in our router. So we will form our router now. For the login, we has been used the login. Now we have to use that register. Right now we are created our API for register. So in user service class with the method name is user signup. So has been called my service in the router, and this router is already imported in our app.js file. This is the how I called my router. And for this, in the register before I wants to place user registration, user login, like that. So my API URL is here right now. So we will check in the postman and our port number is 4000. So we'll call our URL now HTTP, and we are using that localhost. You already seen that we are using with the port number of 4000, and we declared in the URL of starting from user to registration. So user it is present in our app.js starting URL, and after that in the router we declared as the URL of register ending. So register, and we'll write an API with the post. So in the body we want to pass an email address. So here we go, email. So with the email address, it is already present in our database. So we will check. So user already exists. Now we will pass the new email address and we will check. So before that we have to give one response here in our service. So if we throw an new, so you can see the empty will come. So first we will check and after we will write the response. So there is no. That's why it is continuously sending the request. So we will cancel it and we will write the response one. If the email address already not exists in our previously data in database, so at that time means the data dot length should be a complete 0. So we'll check if data dot length equals to 0 means we will throw the response of new user like that. So with the status of 200 and with the message new user. So we'll check it. So you can see that new user is there. Okay, with the response of. Now, so when we enter a new email address, we want to insert this email address into our database. So we'll write that query. So we'll write the query. SQL query 1 equals to insert into, the table name is user information, and we are passing here is the username and email and password. Values which we are passing, we will keep it as a question mark. Now we has been completed our query. So when the data.length equals to 0, at this time we want to call our database to insert those values which we are passing. So await dbcon.query. So SQL query 1 we are passing to insert the values into our database, and the values we have to pass here will came with this const values equals to username, email and the password. So these values we will pass here. So we have to pass this async. So we have to pass the values to insert into our database, values. And if we get an error, it will throw an error, or else it will pass the data. So if it is successfully the data inserted in our DB, so at that time the data is to be true. So we'll get the response of okay. If you're not inserted means it will go to the error. So if we get data, so we'll pass the data 1 here for our purpose. Okay. So at this time we will get the response of this one with the 200 of status. So if we getting an error means it will throw here with the response of 400, and error we will pass here. And before checking that, so here we are passing the password, right? So I don't want to store the password as like we are entering in the form of text. So I don't want to store like that. So I want to convert this password to be invisible, not understand. It's visible, right? But exact password is not visible to them. And I want to store this in the form of hash. For that, I want to install the bycrypt.js. So I has already installed that one. You can see here bycrypt.js. If you are not installed, install that and write this one which I am writing now. So bycrypt.js. So we will import that one. Bycrypt react require. So bycrypt. So we imported this one. So I want to convert the password, right? For that, I want to use a salt, mixing of salt means that will add multiple of strings. What we have mentioned the length, it will pass extra string to our password. So that for that before the values. So const salt equals to await bycrypt dot junk salt of a length should be I want to give as a 10. So for and before the hash it has to mix, right? So I want to hash password equals to await bycrypt dot hash of. So we have to mix the salt with our password. So password, we are passing password comma salt. Now this password pass in place of password, which we are passing the password, replace it with a hash password. Now the password after converting into hash, it will goes to our DB and it will store in that password place with the hash password. Okay, now we will check in the postman. So we already checked this one with the new user. Now we'll pass our username also. Username with Akshaya with the name of and the email address. So after that, the password which I am passing here is @1. So this is the new user now which we want to store in our database. Is it successful or if we get an error, we'll check. So it has been successfully inserted into our database because it is a new user. So we'll check in our database first. How is our password has been stored like that. So you can see that hash password and is converted our password actually @1 to a hash password. We cannot understand it. So has been installed. Now we'll check with this username to register again. No, now no need of this. Okay, we will check here now. So user already exists. We are unable to register with the same email address again and again. So this is the how we will verify our email address before to register. The email should be verified. If it is already present means we are unable to sign up again. If it is new user only, we able to register here. So in the last tutorial, in the login at user authentication video, we are check the password, right? At that time we are not register or we are not stored the password. Password in the form of hash password. So at that time we wants to check the password by crypt.compare. So we will see that one. You also corrected that, and in the password and check password, here the only one you have to change is this line. Just change like await by crypt.compare of request.password comma which has been already stored in our database, that is data of 0 dot password. So this is the how you have to change only when we use the password converting of hash in our sign up means. For the login you have to change this line, that's it, and you can easily compare the password. This is the how we will check the email address first, and if already exists means it will throw user already exists. If it is new user means then only it has been successfully registered. So again and again we are not to register with the same email address. So this is the how we will write the API service. For the next video we will integrate this into our front end. Now we will check with the postman. At that time we will call this API nothing but we will integrate this API service which is sign up API to into our ReactJS, and we will check through our front end design of sign up page. So in the next tutorial we will integrate that. If you like these videos, please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon. It will give the notifications when I upload new videos.